How do people like you claim star rankings are the end-all be-all, but former 2-stars and 3-stars like Brock Purdy and Joe Burrow are in the NFL playoffs? Well, you notice the wording there? The end-all be-all. I will tell you something, George Washington Tarver. I'm not quite sure if we added all of our paychecks here together, how much it would equal, but we are willing to do that. I didn't even clear this with Jesse or Colin, but I have the freedom to speak for them. That's how laws work. So their paycheck and my paycheck, we're going to pool it all together, and we will give you our next paycheck. If you ever find evidence anywhere of me saying star rankings are the end-all, be-all, that's not ever what I've said. What I have said is they matter because, yes, talent matters. And trying to evaluate that talent, trying to properly rate that talent is not the easiest practice in the world, which I think is common sense, but it's not common sense. So let me tell you, we're in that weird area right now. It happens every NFL playoff season where somebody that lacks the imagination to create their own content goes out there and they look at all the players in the playoffs, and then they go back to high school and they aggregate their star rankings out of high school, and then of course they filter out the ones that were highly rated, and they show you the ones that weren't as highly rated, and they use that as evidence that the recruiting industry is a sham. Star ratings, it's just a crapshoot. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to go down the road of telling you how I interpret star ratings. I will. It's not a long road. It's just basically a here and now snapshot of a player using all of the available criteria, metrics, etc. There's no way to know what the psyche val on that player would be. There's no way to know how he's going to acclimate to college life. There's no way to know if he doesn't have a 6.5-inch growth spurt coming his sophomore year. You just have the information at hand, and you try to put as good a rating on a kid as possible. I'm going to break some news to you tonight. Not all kids have physically plateaued when they're 11th and 12th graders. The J.J. Watt protocol, in other words. But anyway, properly interpreting the value of star ratings has always required two things that are preciously lacking this time of year, and that is nuance and context. The thing about nuance and context is those don't really fit on those gotcha graphics that a lot of people like to put out there to try and prove to you that, oh, star rankings don't mean anything. Well, they do. They just don't mean everything, and they're not complete, and they're not scientific. So I found it interesting, if you looked at the tweet we just got, that Joe Burrow was mentioned. I could pick any of a number of these guys, but let me just, for the sake of argument and time tonight, let me take Joe Burrow. Very, very classic case study here. So what are we talking about? The allegation, to be clear, is since Joe Burrow's destroying it in the NFL, and he was only rated a 4-star, by the way, he wasn't a 3-star. He was only rated a 4-star. The recruiting industry whiffed, right? And everyone can see that. The recruiting industry whiffed. Well, I want to take you through an exercise right quick. Everyone is free to participate. I want to use Joe Burrow. Let's use Joe Burrow as the example, okay? He was a 4-star coming out of high school. That's in the class of 2015. I'm not even going to make you do what the folks in the recruiting industry had to do, and that was put a star rating and a grade on him coming out of high school. I'm going to give you the benefit of 3 more years. So you don't have to do what the Wiltfongs of the world had to do. You can wait through 2015 and 16 and 17, and you can even watch his full 2018 season, and then I want you to grade him. So let's recap what happened there. He went to Ohio State. He transferred from Ohio State to LSU, and now he's got a full year starting under his belt at LSU, where he was a 57% completion percentage guy, I think 16-5 touchdown to INT in 2018. Got shut out by Bama. They didn't score a point against Bama that year. The current situation is it's the end of the 2018 college football season. I want you, at that point, to star rate Joe Burrow. I want any NFL GM out there, at that point, to star rate Joe Burrow. I dare you to tell me you're putting anything more than a 4-star rating on him after 3 additional years of inventory at your disposal, of a resume at your disposal. Then 2019 happened. Well, any idiot could reassign a star rating then. You don't get to do that in the recruiting world. You got to put it on them when they're coming out of high school. So no, they put 4 stars on him coming out of high school. And then the following 3 years happened. And even after the 2018 season, no one was looking at that rating and saying, wow, that was really out of whack. If anything, some of you who send me those tweets may bump him down to a 3-star after seeing the 2018 season and seeing him get shut out against Alabama, not even being a 60% completion percentage guy. The point is, it's very difficult. It's not the easiest thing in the world, especially at the quarterback position. Not the easiest thing in the world to project because, number one, we know something happened between 2018 and 2019. His name's Joe Brady. And a lot of other talent around him being Joe Burrow, was all of a sudden utilized properly. And the reins were handed over to a very competent offensive mind that came to Baton Rouge by way of New Orleans, and they blew up college football in 2019. I look at Hendon Hooker this year and what he did under Josh Heupel. Same guy, just not at Virginia Tech anymore. He's at Tennessee. You have no clue any given year how many guys are completely, is it foundering or floundering? Drowning at another program that just need a change of scenery or just need new personnel in the coach's box. It's very hard to know how a guy's going to be handled when you're grading them in high school. You don't know any of that. Sometimes even into their college career you don't. But I don't even necessarily count on a normal fan who has a 9-to-5 job and you're not in the business of talent evaluation. You may look at someone who is a talent evaluator in the recruiting industry and say, well, I shouldn't be as good as you. You should have the benefit of the doubt that you have to prove to me because you guys claim to be professionals. Okay. I think I made my point, but let's just play devil's advocate here, and let's say you're right about that. I want to talk to another group of folks for a second, because those are NFL general managers that I want to talk to. I want to talk to NFL scouts. NFL scouts, general managers. They get the entire college football resume on a guy's reel. Not to mention they get full medical on a guy. They get a full psychological background. They get to interview him. They do investigative work, knowing every nook and cranny of their lives, and they still whiff all the time. So imagine how hard it is to properly grade a guy coming out of 11th grade and 12th grade. The dudes 4 or 5 years down the road who run NFL franchises still whiff sometimes. You know what else they do? They hit a lot of times. Just like in the recruiting industry, strangely, a lot of these kids with 5 stars next to their name, they also have offers from Ohio State and Alabama and Clemson. And some of them wash out for reasons not even pertaining to football. My point is, you can every now and then anecdotally pick out these examples, and I can throw like 15 more of them back in your face. It's not an exact science, is all I'm trying to say. So in lieu of being any more harsh, and for the sake of timing, I'm going to move on. But I knew that was coming. We were waiting for it, and we got a couple of those tweets this morning.
Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure and leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.